convene. Sean?
Hi, I'm Sean Drasher. I'm Director of Elections.
I'm Suzanne Hauser. I'm Deputy of Elections.
Welcome.
How you doing? Good to see you guys again. We have a few things to cover here. The first one to start with is our change of polling place. Dawn, can I pop the map up on the screen, or should we just go with the paper?
Just go with the paper. She has that on record there.
Okay. I'll pass this over to you. I didn't want it this big, but to get all the streets on there and make it a little more legible. We're going to be moving about half a mile to the northeast. There you go. And we'll be sending letters out to every voter in that precinct. There you go.
To Stoneridge.
Mm-hmm. So Judy has been doing an amazing job of managing this process. Everything is locked in except for right here for the next election. And Stoneridge is locked in. They're excited to have us back. Suzanne went over in person, and they're going to be very happy to have us back. So I'm happy with that. It'll get us back in the precinct too, which is nice. As you see, we're really only moving about a half mile, about 3 minutes over to the northeast. So it's not a particularly big deal.
It's a good spot.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve this change?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we move this polling place for this next election to Stoneridge from the Myerstown Borough building. Any question or comment? Go ahead.
No, that was my question. You answered it.
Okay.
Where the old place was.
Any other comments or questions regarding the motion? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
And Judy has been doing an amazing job at managing this process. She's very on top of it. She has a little more than 6 months to go before retirement, and we are going to miss her.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, she's got that institutional knowledge over there that you can rely on.
Yes, she does. She's been amazing through this whole process, especially this cycle right now. She's been a rock that we've been leaning on. So, next I have ballot ordering. I wanted you to see the spreadsheet that I left for you last night. I want to quick explain what we have here, because this is, in the last meeting I mentioned we were going to use a couple of different calculation methods and then go with the highest one.
Yes, absolutely.
That is still, of course, on the board, but I wanted you to just see, there's some interesting numbers when we really look at this. So the left column is voter raw data, and then the next 4 columns are different counties' methods of calculating ballot ordering counts. They use pretty different math to get to those numbers, but the numbers aren't that far off. But the math is very different, which is interesting. But the reality check in bright orange on the far right, if we use the math that some counties use, just traditional ways of doing it. For instance, you'll see in Lebanon First Ward between 200 and 300 ballots easily ordered to cover that precinct. But if you look, the actual voter turnout in a federal primary last time around was 14 Democrats and 35 or 55 Republicans, and we're ordering hundreds of ballots based on the way people do math in the state. So I'm at a bit of a conundrum. That's a pretty big delta, and that goes all the way down through the precincts. It shows, for one thing, I'd like to see how we can get a better voter turnout. I think that is something that this really highlights. We have 474 voters in First Ward, for instance. I'm only choosing that because it's the first one on the list, and we're looking at about 70 that show up. In a presidential, we're looking at 150, give or take. So long term would be nice to see if we could get that turnout higher. We can talk about that another time. This time around, though, for ballots, if I were to take the highest number in order that, like I said in the last meeting, we would be over by many multiples, many multiples. So what I would say, still using the math that we pulled from around the state, but I would choose column 2. That method is just taking the previous federal primary, the high previous federal primary turnout, which is about 38% and doubling it. And there's no way we should be able to go over that number.
You
That would be.
understand this is being recorded? Okay, just so you realize that, because this is very important. We cannot have a redo of, running out, and so I'm on the side of more of a cushion is not a bad thing, but I'll go with.
That's why I'm bringing it to you. There are the 4 methods here,
All right.
and I am comfortable with using either one, any one of these.
Can you tell the cost difference, ballpark of, if it boils down to that, but I just seriously want to make sure we don't have an issue.
Right. Well, you know what? I didn't put a dollar figure on it. I can tell you the total number of ballot difference. The method I would have used, which I hadn't thought I would have used, but now that I'm looking at them, I'm thinking that would be about 59,000 ballots would be printed. The high-end ballot would be about 77,000 ballots printed.
Wow.
And we had in the primary for the presidential, which was our highest in recent history, we had about 28,700 voters. So I think
And we're in a paper shortage situation as well.
we are in a paper shortage situation.
Well,
Yeah.
all that considered, I mean,
Yeah.
if people will not forgive if we run out and have long lines because we saved a couple dollars on paper.
Right.
No offense to the trees, but that's kind of still in my head, running out there with, replenishing supplies and people waiting and being, and leaving.
Yeah.
So I just, that's why I'm sort of sensitized here. And the fact that the numbers, these are all, have to be all different, because of the different
Right.
makeups of the districts, and
Mhm.
so it's not like 50,000 of one type of ballot. These are
Right, right.
so many different types, so you are gonna get overages that are gonna seem, why are you doing 70,000 when you need 28,000?
Right.
But it's because you have to have cushions in each category.
Mhm.
So I'm just giving this little speech because I don't want to be in a position of being penny wise, pound foolish, and then say, do I have to play that tape for Sean again? But but anyway, use your 38% times 2 seems like plenty.
Mhm.
And if that's your recommendation, I'll support it, but I just want,
I wanted you guys to see the math.
Well, I appreciate the math, I like math, and I will move to support option number 2 in the number of primary ballots that we print.
I'll second that.
Okay.
and I will just have one more comment. The training, if they get down to 50 or whatever that number is, they gotta hit a red button and something goes off in the office to get more printed and get, more out to them before that 50 turns into a waiting line. So if we have that understanding, you'll get 3 yeses, I think.
Yes.
All right, any other questions or comments regarding this motion?
What's the number of ballots under option 2?
Just under 60,000.
Anything else? If not, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Okay. All right. This next one, let me start off by apologizing for the late presentation of the ballot samples that I shared with you. We had a late afternoon conference call with state yesterday to try to get more information before we could present it. We did not, unfortunately, get a lot of usable information out of that conference call, so we printed them out immediately afterwards and brought them over to you. I know all 3 of you are very familiar with the situation we're in that relationship right now and trying to get this all to move forward. It's been a challenge. I don't want to put too much blame on state either, because they are under a lot of pressure and they are having challenges behind the scenes, which it's easy to point the finger at them.
Very diplomatic.
It is true though.
Yes.
And we also have just this morning more from the courts and things that in certain areas could drag things out further, it seems. The good news is in our county, it does not appear that we have any contested issues. So what you have shouldn't be changed by the state or the courts, the samples I gave you. I gave you one of 98th, one for the 101st, and one for the 102nd for each party. You see it's both Spanish and English on the ballot. We've proofread it through the office about 100 times. And I know you wanted to have more time to look at it, and I can appreciate that. If we get approval on this, as soon as we get approval on this, we can have a test deck produced. It doesn't necessarily mean the ballots have to be produced at that time, but the test deck can be produced. And that is relevant because if we are able to meet the schedule and you're comfortable with it, we are going to begin LNA testing at the warehouse on Monday. We have William Penn coming in. We'll be doing testing throughout the week using the ballots.
And that's a vendor, William Penn.
Yes,
Okay.
not a person, a vendor. They are who we've been using. That's not new. They've been doing our testing for us all along, or assisting us with the testing. We will then have public testing here in the hallway on Thursday at 11 a.m. And on Thursday morning, we're going to be scheduling a special rover training. That's somewhat new. Since we have a machine expert on hand, we're going to bring the rovers in to have a chat and an informal training so that they can be fixing these things in real time, and it's not phone call, back and forth on election day in the event that there
How many
would be an issue.
rovers do we have right now?
4, maybe 5.
Are they all county employees?
You know, that's a good question. I don't know if they're all county
I don't think
employees.
so.
I don't think so, because one of them is Judy's husband. I don't think so.
Who was the one?
Judy's husband is one, so
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think so. I don't think he's a county
Related to
employee.
a county employee, there you go.
Right.
All right.
So that will be a first time since I've been involved in elections that we're doing that, and we'll see how that
Good
goes.
stuff.
Yep. And after rover training next Thursday, the following Monday and Tuesday we'll have judges training, where we'll be going over the big question that you brought up, Commissioner Phillips, regarding if you get low on ballots, call us, please, call us. We can get more to you.
Okay.
Then the following week is training for everybody else. And then very shortly thereafter is election day. It's happening fast.
May I just ask one question on spelling? I really don't know. I was trying to read it at the press conference downstairs, didn't have time to research it. It's Catherine with a C and not a K on Catherine Miller.
I believe so. We have the official, no, I'm so sorry, the unofficial list here that I pulled off a state website. We'll double check.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it is, yes, but we'll double check.
I was just curious, because that would be in, a lot of times you see it both ways, so double checking.
Okay.
So that is sort of our status. I appreciate, by the way, let me just say, your patience through this ballot process. And this has been unusual for me, but I don't know how unusual because I'm new.
Thank you. And you had one extra layer. Jamie also had a chance to take a look. So. Okay.
Excellent.
Excellent. All right. Is there a motion to approve the ballots as presented?
Motion approved.
And I'll second the motion.
All right. Any discussion or questions? Yes.
Sean, you said there are no contested issues in Lebanon County.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
We have in the 98th district, and you're not talking about the actual races, because in the 98th Republican, you've got 4, well, apparently now 3. So that is a contested primary.
Oh, I'm sorry. I used the
Yeah.
wrong figure of speech. I'm
Okay.
so sorry.
That's what I
meant
was
You're
wondering.
talking about the courts. And
the courts.
Okay,
Right.
that's what I was making sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
I think, Sean, you applauded us for our patience. I applaud you for scrambling and getting this done under such a tight timeframe.
Thanks, Commissioner.
You and your team.
Yeah.
And thank you.
You have a level head, both of you, so you've been doing a good job. Thank
Thank
you.
you. I really wish Judy was more of a public speaker. I really would like her here because she has been amazing through this process. We're going to miss her.
She's more of a private speaker,
She is very much not interested in being in the public eye.
so to speak. All right. Any other comments? If not all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved. All right. Go get them. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, guys. And gals.